This is the craziest financial collapse ever. FTX exchange was the third largest exchange in the world. Financial institution that was talked about by regulators, talked about by major institutions like Fidelity, and yet a complete collapse and lack of control. 10 things that are super crazy. Number one, misuse of client funds. Money went in, didn't go where it was supposed to. Right now they found 740 million of assets. That's 8 cents in the dollar for people that have invested. It's a tiny amount. 92% of the money that's supposed to be there isn't there. And of course, when people investigate, they actually take the charges out of the money that they find. So ultimately, it's probably going to be 5 cents in the dollar that actually is potentially returned to people that have invested. That's mad. I've never seen a complete collapse like this in the financial industry. Number three, complete corporate failure. No board meetings, nothing, absolutely zero, no minutes. Okay, completely inexperienced, unsophisticated, potentially compromised people running the organization. That's crazy. Actually, a company being allowed to be run by people that don't know what they're doing. Somebody should be checking. Actually, no one was checking. Number four, they messaged on social media that was disappearing messages. Yep, absolutely. Decisions were made and actually the messages were disappearing. Okay, can you believe it? Running a company like that. Number five, there was disinvestments to clients. So if you want to claim back your expenses, you put them on a message. That's it, nothing else. So anybody that was working for the company, any expenses, they chucked it on a message that disappeared within a few days. Okay, and they claimed their money back. Okay, man, no employee list, none. Okay, that wasn't even a list of people that employed by the company. It's super shocking. Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO, was lent $1 billion. Okay, some people are saying more. Certainly the records indicate $1 billion lent to the CEO. Okay, they bought property for the various employees, lent them money to buy property. Again, not recorded properly, nothing to in the books. There's another point there to record the assets or anything else. A complete mess. In fact, the person that's now appointed as a CEO has been a CEO for 40 years, took over Enron when it collapsed, sorted the mess out that was there, said this is the worst. I've never seen such complete corporate failure. Okay, we got no records of assets. Okay, and lastly, software to hide where they'd misused the funds. In other words, they made it look like the money was invested, actually developed software that was to hide the fact that it wasn't where they thought it was. In other words, they kind of built, if you like, a tier over it to make it a skin over the platform, to make it look like the money was there, when actually there was nothing there. Okay, completely crazy. People say all sorts of things. They'll say that Sam Bankman-Fried, it's this, it's that. Okay, actually, ultimately, it just proves that they need to be regulated. In other words, any financial institution needs to have proper regulation. It's fairly obvious. People object to it, okay, but the reality is, why will they object to it? Because you get tiers of paperwork. It slows things down in the business where you're talking about digital assets, fast, freedom, etc. The reality is, you've got to have some form of regulation. Good news is what comes out of this is that regulation has to occur. And that means you actually end up with a better industry. Some people like Cathie Wood are investing money right now just on the basis it's guaranteed now to get regulation. Okay, makes sense. Our reality is they have to regulate, but certainly this is chaos. And I feel sorry for anybody that used FTX. Crazy, and a painful lesson for many people.